The biggest mistake business owners make when applying for 0% funding is not optimizing their personal profile first. I've seen people with an 800 plus credit score only get approved for $5,000 or $10,000 from their bank that they've been with for 10 or 15 years, and they can't figure out why. The banks are looking at multiple data points when they're going to approve you for high limit, 0% interest business credit cards. And I'm going to go through those steps. One of the very first things they're looking for is your credit score, but not just your credit score. They want to know if you've had any negative remarks on your credit report in the last 7 years. This includes collections, charge-offs, late payments, bankruptcies, anything like that or similar to any of those negative remarks can stop you from getting approved for these high limit business credit cards. So what can you do? If you have any negative remarks like that, the best thing to do is to get with a credit repair company that can delete those negative remarks off of your credit report. It doesn't mean if you have an old collection from an apartment complex or a phone bill from 5 years ago, you should just pay it off because it's still going to stay on your credit report. The best thing to do is to get it deleted and you don't need to pay it back. So that's step one, is looking at your personal credit. The next thing is having a good mix of personal credit cards on your personal profile. In a perfect scenario, you would have 3 to 5 personal credit cards, all with limits of at least $5,000 or more. The perfect profile would have at least $30,000 to $50,000 of personal credit. The minimum would be $15,000. Now, speaking about the personal credit cards and credit limits, utilization is also key. You may hear 30% less or utilization. People think that that means in total. So we've had clients before that have 5 credit cards, 4 of them are paid off, 1 of them is maxed out. That's not good for optimization. Each card individually needs to be below 30% utilization. 30% is the cutoff. If it's below like 20% or 15%, that's even better. Now, if you have mortgages and car payments and everything that's all in good standing, that's a plus. It shows a good mixture of different types of credit on your credit profile. Now, if you're somebody who has great credit, no negatives, but maybe it's a thin profile, that means only having 1 or 2 credit cards with maybe $2,000 or $3,000 a piece on them because your credit age is low. So age is another data point. Having low credit age means that you've only had those credit cards for 1 or 2 or 3 years. This gives you a shallow credit profile, a thin profile. What you can do is add an authorized user. An authorized user is piggybacking on somebody else's credit. The free way is having a family member, a parent, a cousin, a relative, or even a good friend who has a really good credit card that has a high limit. By high limit, I mean $10,000 or more. And that credit card has good age, meaning 7 to 10 years or more of age on that credit card. They can add you as an authorized user to that card simply by calling the number on the back of that card and saying, I would like to add so-and-so to my card. This is not going to hurt their credit. When the credit card shows up to their house, they can simply throw the card away, shred it, burn it, whatever. They never have to give you the card, which will never give you access to their credit. So it poses no risks to that person. But what's going to happen is that credit card and all of its goodness is going to extend onto your profile. So if your profile only had 1 to 2 years of age, now you're going to add a 10-year card with a $10,000 limit on it to your profile. This will rapidly jump your score as well as add age and history to your report. You don't want to add more than 3. Anything more than 3, it starts to become a negative. Now, credit age is a average. So if you have a card that has 1 year, and you add a card that has 10 years, it's going to add your credit age to around 5. So if we're going to be looking at adding new primary accounts, which is a personal credit card of yours, we're going to want to add 2 or even 3 authorized user accounts with the same thing, 10 years or more with $10,000 or more. One important thing is if somebody's adding you to a credit card, you don't want to add an authorized user that has higher than 30% utilization because it's only going to hurt you. I've seen it before. So once you add those authorized users to your report and increases your age, now you can call your credit cards and ask for a limit increase. But keep in mind, you can't ask for a limit increase if you have more than 30% utilization on that specific business credit card. So get your credit card limits down, add authorized user accounts. Once those hit your report, and you can check that on Experian.com, now you can ask to raise your personal credit limits on those cards. And most of the time it doesn't give you an inquiry. Sometimes it does. So you need to ask. And then you can apply for 1 or 2 more primary accounts. I recommend Capital One. I recommend American Express, either the gold or the platinum card. They do come with annual fees, but they have a lot of perks as well. You can even add a personal Chase, Sapphire point card as well. That's going to help when we come to funding. So now your personal credit limits are higher. Your mix is higher because you've added a couple more cards. Your age is higher because you've added authorized users. You have no negative accounts. Your score has raised quite a bit. And we didn't add a whole bunch of inquiries to your report. So the next thing is going to be picking the right banks that you're going to want to apply for funding with. One of the ones that we love to use is both Chase and American Express. So one key thing to remember is if you're going to want to get funding with American Express, you need to have a personal credit card with American Express first, or they're only going to give you a $2,000 limit. Regardless of how good your credit report is, if it's your first time getting an Amex business card, you're going to get $2,000 unless you have a personal card first. And with Chase, you don't necessarily need to have a Chase business account, but they do like you to have some sort of a profile. So that's why I was recommending even applying for that Chase personal card first. You don't necessarily need it. They'll still approve you for high limits, but it's just a plus in the optimization phase when applying. We also recommend business owners to open a Wells Fargo business checking account because they now have a really good 0% interest business credit card, but you need to have a Wells Fargo checking account first for at least 2 months. That's the best case. You can do it sooner, but I'm just giving you best case scenario. So full optimization, you now have good credit, you have a good personal credit mix, you have good credit age because we've added that, and you have low utilization. All of these things are things to take care of in the optimization phase prior to even applying. One of the most important things to do and to look at prior to applying. The last thing is how many hard inquiries do you have? Hard inquiries are an easy thing to remove as long as it's not tied to a personal account, meaning a personal credit card that has a hard inquiry, you cannot remove that. If you have business inquiries, or if you had recently been house shopping or car shopping and you got multiple inquiries on your credit, all of those things can be removed. Any inquiry that's not attached to a personal profile can be removed, so just be cautious when applying for too many things on the personal side. All the business inquiries, business credit inquiries, anything like that, all that stuff can be deleted, so don't worry about it. But we want to have clean inquiries prior to applying for business credit cards. So I hope this helps. We also have a free Skool community that you can join with the link below. We'll see you in the next video.